Sages say that in the future there will be no mitzvahs. Says Rav Yosef says in the Gemara in the Talmud Masechta Nida, he says that in the future the mitzvahs will be mavatal, they'll be nullified. So what does this mean? First of all, yesterday's parsha was a double parsha. It's Torah portion. It was Bahar and Bechukosai. Bahar, as in Bahar Sinai. Har Sinai is where we received the godly influence. We received the Torah, the commandments, the tablets, the oral tradition. We received everything. Everything God said to Moshe Rabbeinu that was transferred to us, to our day now, all took place at Har Sinai. Started at Har Sinai. So, first of all, to understand what a mitzvah is, the word mitzvah we usually refer to as a commandment, but it comes from the word tzavsa, as in tzavsa v'chibur, to connect and to unify. So this is what a commandment really is, right? Hashem is the source of life, the source of everything. And by giving us these commandments, he gives us an opportunity, he gives us the chance to connect to him, to the source of life. Okay, so the second parsha is Bechukosai, right? Im Bechukosai telechu ve'es mitzvosai tishmaru va'asisim oisam. Says you will follow my edicts, follow my decrees, and observe my commandments, right? He says, and you will do them. Then he says, Venasati gishmechem, and then I'll give you rain, right? Then I'll cause the rain to fall, which is an allegory for all brachas, right? All form of brachas, as that was how agriculture and everything was to thrive, was through rain. So it's a symbol for all brachas. So we're guaranteed, we're told that we will do these mitzvahs, we'll get the blessings. Now, what's interesting is he's referring to the entire Torah, Hashem. He's referring to everything. Okay, so why does he use the term Bechukosai? Okay, there's three types of mitzvahs. There's edus, which are things that we do out of commemoration or to symbolize something, like Shabbos, Pesach, Tefillin. On the basic meaning, on the simple meaning, we do them as a commemoration. Then there's mishpatim, things that we would do anyways, things that are obvious just from the human condition. Don't kill, don't steal, respect your parents, those kind of things that we would do anyway, or we would learn to do anyway. And then the last one is chukim, which is the laws that we do because Tati said so. Hashem said to do them, so we do them. And that's why. It doesn't matter why. In fact, it's advantageous that we don't necessarily understand why, because it shows that they come from a higher power. It comes from a higher source if we don't understand it. So why did Hashem choose the term chuk, right, Bechukosai, in regards to us following his laws? There's three types of laws. Why did he choose chukim to represent the entire Torah? So, in general, when the Torah is given a commandment, it uses a language that could be interpreted in three different ways. One, like a command, right? You will follow my command, you will follow my edicts. The second, you could read it like a promise. You will follow my commands. And the third, you could read it like a story, right? You'll follow my commands. It's a story. He's telling it as it unfolds. So these three levels of understanding the commandments also go on three main levels of the neshama, of the soul. There's five specific levels, but there's three main ones. The first one is the nefesh, which is the vivifying soul. It's the soul that brings life to the body and lives in this physical world, as it lives in this physical world. The second is the neshama, which is the soul. What that really means, what that usually means is the soul. The neshama is the spiritual, the metaphysical identity of the person. And the third is the etzem neshama. It's called the nefesh elokis. It's the godly soul. And it's, the Alter Rebbe says, it's a chelik elokam ma'al mamish. It's literally a piece of Hashem above. It's God in the person. So those are the three levels of the soul. So these three ways of interpreting the format of the way the commandments were given go on these three levels of the soul, right? The nefesh lives in this physical world, and so it needs to be commanded. The neshama knows about God, so it just needs to be promised. It's a promise. And the chelak elokai, the peace of God above, it does things automatically. Because it's a piece of Hashem. It is Hashem. So this brings us to the three types of Torah, the three forms of Torah that were given at Har Sinai. The Torah Sheba'al Peh is the oral tradition, the way that things are described and defined and gone into detail. The Torah Shebechsav is the written Torah, which is the actual Torah like we have it today. And the luchos, the tablets that were given, the famous tablets that were given. Okay. So Torah Sheba'al Peh means that the information leaves the source. The source speaks the information, and then the receiver hears the information and internalizes it. Meaning to say that the Torah itself is separate from the source. It becomes separate from the source as soon as they speak it. Okay? And this goes on the nefesh. This is level of the body, the soul that's in the body. It perceives itself as being a separate entity from Hashem. It thinks it's separate. So just like it is perceiving this individuality of being separate from Hashem, so too it's related to this idea of the Torah being transmitted in a way that's separated from its source. The second one is the Torah Shebechsav, the written Torah. And the written Torah is like this. There's cloth, there's the parchment, and there's ink. And with the ink, the words of Torah are written on to the parchment, and they become united. They become one written Torah. And that's the idea of the neshama. The neshama is aware of Hashem. It wants to be connected with Him, obviously. It's aware of Him. And so, by the giving of the Torah, of the written Torah and its commandments and the mitzvahs, like we said earlier, mitzvah comes from tzavsa v'chibur, the ability to connect, right? So this ability to connect, this written Torah, is the promise. I'm giving you the ability to connect to Hashem. This is Hashem's giving us the commandments, and the commandments give us that ability to connect and become one with. Just like the ink becomes one with the parchment, becomes one. By doing these mitzvahs, there's the level of understanding and connecting to the mitzvahs and connecting to Hashem by way of written Torah. And the third is the luchos, the tablets. And the tablets were given with the commandments engraved in them, right? It says that the stones were given to Moshe Rabbeinu already with the words engraved, and you could see all the way through the tablet. The words went all the way through. And the word for engrave in Hebrew is chakika, right? So the tablets were written in a way of chakika. They were engraved. And this is just like the chukim, that they go on the level of the neshama that is one with Hashem. It is God. It's a piece of God. So it's not that it is a separate thing and it wants to connect. It's not, chas v'shalom, a separate entity altogether or perceives itself as a separate entity. It's God Himself. Just like the commandments written in the luchos were already in the luchos, right? Already in the tablets. So this is why our sages said that in the future, we won't have commandments. We won't have commandments, but we'll still have halachas, right? And halachas means the laws. So the laws will remain, and the laws are Hashem's will. So by carrying out Hashem's will, we are given this ability to follow the halachas, right? And halacha, the word, goes on the word telechu from our pasuk, BeHar-Bechukosai telechu, which means walking, essentially. And walking means to progress, right? So by carrying out Hashem's will, we're essentially walking with Hashem. And to walk with Hashem is essentially bringing Him down into this world, right? We bring God down into this physical world, which is the purpose of creation. The purpose of existence is to make a dira b'tach tainim, a home for Hashem in this physical world, a home for God in this world. So in the future, Mashiach comes, and the knowledge of Hashem will cover the earth the way that the water covers the seabed. The nefesh won't need to be commanded. It won't need to be reminded to do or told what to do, told how to connect to Hashem. The neshama won't need to be promised that it'll be given the opportunity to connect to Hashem, because we'll all be living according to a way of chakika. We'll be firing on the cylinder of the nefesh elokis, the etzem haneshama, the peace of God within us all. And when we're firing in that way, we're living according to chakika, living according to that etzem haneshama, the peace that is a chelik elokam u'ma'al mamish. Then things happen automatically. We'll carry out his will automatically. We'll connect with him automatically, because it won't be two separate entities connecting. We'll all just be one. So it should be that Hashem should grant us that ability by bringing Mashiach and fixing this world. B'mheira v'yameinu. Take it from Miyad.